Can Honkai Star Rail fix the issue with global passives? Yes, I do think that they can fix this issue. Now, what am I talking about, right? As we all know, castorice is getting a global passive added to the game, which obviously is going to lead for more global passives for more characters coming down the line, right? She has the ability to allow every team in the game to revive, right? Any team you use, whether she's on the team or not, they have the chance to revive. They can cocoon and come back to life, right? So this does set the precedence for more characters coming to the game with global passives. This means anything from damage buffs to speed increases to skill point increases to a whole bunch of different things, right? So how do they alleviate this? How do they fix this issue? Or are they even going to fix the issue? First things first, do I think they're going to fix the issue? No, and maybe yes. So let's get into that really quick. So first things first, guys, I do think how they're going to balance this is a little bit differently, right? I do think they'll probably end up giving free characters out that have global passives, right? Or characters that are given to you in the game for free that have a global passive added to them, right? They've already stated once that they are giving a free character out that is going to be having, or they're giving a free limited character out. They announced that during the live stream, right? So we know we're getting a character. Will that character have a global passive? Probably so. I can see it having a global passive. I can see it probably having a pretty decent global passive at that. Now, there's still a problem with that because this still means that characters still have global passives. Characters still hold global passives. But how do I think they can fix this, right? So I'm going to hop into game roll really quick right here, right? To talk about that just a little bit here, right? First of all, this is my alt account. Don't worry about it. The account is absolutely scuffed. First of all, I want to say the only way I think they're going to alleviate this is if there is major backlash so people stop spending money in the game. So I urge you, don't spend any money on castorice. I know there's going to be a lot of money spent on castorice because it's a hype for character. People love we're getting a free Ruan Mei, which is, I don't know why we're happy about getting free Ruan Mei when we got free limited Doctor Ratio back then. They should have just given us a free limited castorice, honestly. That's what they should have done. And that would have sweetened it a little bit more, but still doesn't fix the issue, right? Because we're getting a fucking Locha and a free Ruan Mei. Both those options, really not the best thing in the world, right? Ruan Mei's declining, fucking Locha's in the fucking dumpster, that motherfucker. Anyways, let's get back to the main point here, right? I think they'll only fix this issue if they see revenue numbers take a fucking hit, right? Because, and then the backlash is like, because you have global passives with these fucking signature characters, we're not doing it, right? I don't think global passives is a bad thing to have. Cookie Run Kingdom has them, and Dokkan has them. Dokkan has them not, like, in helping you beat the content, but Cookie Run Kingdom does have global passives, which I will show you really quickly in-game right here. Or, did I? Okay, well, let me launch the game real quick. So the way that the Cookie Run does this is there's one way that's kind of scummy, which is this right here, which is basically a set bonus. You have a set of certain cookies together. You get these bomb buffs, which give you some honestly arguably pretty low fucking HP defense stats for the most part, right? So these aren't like the best buffs in the world, but they're buffs nonetheless, right? So I think this is pretty scummy a way to do it, right? You also have costume bonuses, which I also think is very scummy as well, because it's a gacha thing that requires you to pull for these costumes, which require a completely separate currency, which is not very easily obtainable, to get more buffs. So this is pretty bad. I don't like this. I think this is the wrong way to do it. The right way I think you should do it is how the other way they do it in the game is, which is having structures in the game which you can pay for with your crystals here, your gems here, to get these buffs. Like this, for example, gives all cookies crit damage bonuses. These are always in the game. You can go to build right here. You can go to your decors. You can go to what I guess index, right? Go here. Oh, look, you have all of these things here where you can get in the shop and they give you free buffs for your account, or they give you something for your account that you wouldn't otherwise have. And yes, some of these do cost gems, right? But they're all always there and you can have pretty decent access to gems, right? The point is, these things are always here. You always have access to get these. Like in this game right here, where if you go to the shop, right, you go to summon for a character, you go down here to the shop. Oh, look, we have Arlon in the shop here. Oh, look, we also have light cones in the shop here as well. Just like you can buy a light cone, just like you can buy a character here. You should be able to buy like a global buff for your account. So let's say castorice has a global buff, right? I think number one way how they fix this is adding an item into the game where you can purchase it with maybe some of these Stardust that is permanently available to get that global buff on your account, right? So you can pick and choose what global buff you want without actually having to pull for the character. Now, these prices need to be lower. You cannot have the prices in here like 600 for this shit right here, right? I think that has to be, I don't know what the correct price would be. Maybe 300 depending on what the buff is. I think that would probably be more reasonable if I had to guess, right? 300 of these. I'm trying to think. It really depends on how many characters you have in your account, depends on how many of these things you can get, but I think 300 gold is a reasonable ask for a global buff on your account. It also depends on how many global buffs they're putting into the game, but I do believe it should be some type of a shop item that you can get that gives you that global buff for your account that is always there, that you could always buy. The reason why you cannot remove global passives at this point is because they're in the game. If you remove it from Castorice, then people get sued, or a whole universe gets sued, right? Because you can't remove things from a character's kit because that's how you sold the character. You sold the character saying that it will have a global passive, or that global passive, right? So you can't go back and change things. There's a big scandal with My Hero game where Endeavor released with something completely different from what it said, and there's a huge backlash. They had to do a lot of refunds and stuff like that. Unless they want to take that refund hit, there is no reason. In my mind, there is no way they're removing global passives. Okay, that's just shot out the barrel at this point, right? Like I said, the only way I think they can alleviate this is by going into the game and giving you an item, or letting you buy an item with currency you can get free to play to get this stuff here, whether that be a currency from summoning, whether that be just using your Stellar Jades to buy a buff for your account rather than having to pull for a gacha character that's not up all the time. I think that is the move there. Another way they can alleviate it, just give it to you for free, right? I think they have to add an item into the game to give you the global passive for completely free. Now, does that make the characters irrelevant? No. If the kits were shit to begin with, my biggest fear, guys, is that they don't add an item into the game or some way in the game that you can get this global passive for your whole account without having someone for the character. They make a really good global passive for a character, and then they turn around and sell you a shit character, right? Say they give your whole account 100% crit damage, right? Or 100% crit rate for your whole account, right? But they make this character dog shit, right? They make it worse than Arlon, right? But now you're kind of forced into pulling this character because, goddamn, it gives you 100% fucking crit rate for the whole account. But the character's shit, you can't even use them in in-game content. But the buff there gives you buff for the whole fucking account. So yeah, I think that is the issue. And I think genuinely that is the thing they need to do to fix the issue in the game. I think they need to add an item that gives you that global passive, because the global passive should not take away from what the character already does. It should be an additive to what the character does. So with that being said, I think they need to add this item to the game. So maybe if they make these global passives relevant, okay, whatever, right? Maybe it gives people the global passive a little bit before they put it in the shop, right? So say like the character comes out, oh, let's sell the character, and then maybe a month later you can buy the fucking global passive, right? I think that's still kind of scummy to do, but I do think that's another option to do, or another option they could utilize in giving everyone the option to get the global passive, but also give players the option that want to have it early. It's like buying an early access game, okay? That's the best way I can describe it there. But that is how I think they can fix this global passive issue in the game. What do you think? Do you think that's something that is reasonable? How do you think they can fix the global passive issue? Because at this point, they can't remove it. I guess they could remove it if they wanted to before she actually comes out, but I don't think this can happen. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What are some ways they could implement in the game to fix global passives or make it better for players that maybe don't want to pull every fucking character? Anyways, guys, that's my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. That's going to do it for today's video, and I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already. Bye-bye. See you later. Bye, everyone. Toodaloo, toodaloo.